So going forward with the MCU, the mutants are about to enter our lives and forever change what we see in the MCU and of course what the heroes see in the MCU. And that's already been discussed. I did my how to introduce the X-Men into the MCU videos, whether it's the current continuity or the old one, and there's a lot to talk about and unpack in those videos and even with these characters. So going forward, I think there's one thing that a lot of people are worried about, and that's how do you introduce these characters now, specifically characters like one of my favorites, as many of you know, Magneto. Now what I think people have a big problem with is understanding that within the confines of the MCU, yes, the mutants haven't been acknowledged yet, but it doesn't mean that they can't be acknowledged or haven't always been there per se. So, of course, as most of us know, and I hope you know by now, Magneto was a World War II survivor. He survived through the horrific things that were done to people, and he himself was a mutant who was used, and his abilities were kind of abused, and he was experimented upon, much like many people in real life. But of course, Max ended up surviving, and it twists his view on humanity. He blames humanity on what happened, why they let this happen, that all humans are terrible, and he sees himself as a superior being. This is great. This is something that could legitimately carry him as an entire phase villain. There's a lot to this character to unpack. And when you think about it, the X-Men side more with the humans in trying to protect everybody while the Brotherhood is against them. So I think you have to use that aspect. But many people have asked me, Armin, you're such a huge Magneto fan. First Class is my favorite movie because of Magneto. It's my favorite comic book movie ever because of Magneto, because they finally get the character right. People keep asking me, can you please tell us how would you use Magneto and not make it confusing, saying that he's been there for the last forever and hasn't really been used? And I think that's honestly quite easy. For World War II, you're going to take flashbacks to Captain America, the first Avenger. You're going to have little Max. You're going to see that he loves heroes. He has hopes in Captain America. He wants him to rescue him, and nothing happens. As it turns out, it was the Red Skull. He was actually running a separate division completely that we never saw originally, and this was maybe being run by even someone else that Red Skull just kind of oversaw, and they were experimenting on these mutant children that were being hidden away from everybody. Turns out, Max was one of those. And yes, I am calling him Max in this. I think they're going to go with Max Eisenhardt just to kind of differentiate it from what he was called in the other X-Men series, so go with it. And we already know in The Winter Soldier that it was revealed that Hydra infiltrated America automatically. What if these Hydra guys knew about mutants? They were experimenting on them, just like Strucker was experimenting with the scepter and everything, but it wasn't a well-known case. Well, what if that's the way they hide it? They suppressed all knowledge of them, and they kind of kept the mutants locked up in sort of a lock-and-key type of scenario where they were never really revealed. And when everything goes sideways and it's exposed, some of these camps are still uncovered, and legitimately some of these characters break out and come out. Now, of course, there is the problem with age and some of these characters being so old, but mutants always have a weird aging factor when they seem to scale them up and down, so you could really just go with that. Just say that certain mutants age slower, so you could cast a somewhat younger Magneto, like, someone maybe in his 40s for this role, not someone that's like 90 by this point, which I think honestly would work the best. Like, you can legit say that there wasn't that many mutants and they were rare cases, but now they're starting to pop up more and more, and some of these mutants that have been contained have broke out and kind of been on their own. Baby Magneto did break out after the whole collapse of Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's just been kind of making his own brotherhood, ready to strike when he sees fit. I think honestly it works, it ties it back to the old movies, and people would honestly get a kick out of it.